So, hi and welcome to another Colts update where I get to update you on some of the events and the asks that we have as a team, and you get the rather unflattering angle of staring up my nostrils. So, we've got a lot going over the course of December and for the Christmas period, and putting it in multiple social posts wasn't very appealing. So I'm doing this in a way that requires minimal effort on my part, but is hopefully mildly more interesting than listening to me in person. At least this way you can control the volume or hit pause if you don't like what you're hearing. So I'd like to kick off first of all with a quick note about the kids. They had a pretty tough day at the office last Saturday, but it was just one game. And it's incredibly important that we keep positive and that we all focus on what an amazing start the kids have made to the season so far. We are, without doubt, playing some of our best football, certainly since I've been involved in the club. Even on the two occasions this season where the scoreline hasn't reflected our effort, we all know that there's not a team in this league that we can't beat. And I think really that's the first time in earnest we've been able to say that. If you're in any doubt, I think you only really have to come to the last two Wednesdays training sessions to see the hunger and the capability of our kids. They've been simply mesmerising to watch, and Lee's pep talk with them this Wednesday I think was exactly what they needed to build them back up and to get them thinking positively again. And the results on Wednesday, you could see it on the pitch and in their faces. It was really, really great to see. So on that note, I've postponed this week's game against Chippy because Lucas is away, and that pretty much leaves us without a goalie. Given the competitiveness of the games this season, we agreed as a management team that it would be unfair to send the kids up against such an evenly matched side without our little star in goal, to be blunt. So I've replaced it with extra training on the rec this Saturday, which will kick off at 10 a.m, followed by the traditional takeover of the Shake Shop, which has started to be an interesting tradition. So in a nutshell, that means on the weekend, so next weekend on the 14th and the 15th, is a very full-on 2 days of football. We'll begin facing Clanfield on the Saturday at their ground on Burford. Now, I actually think that's going to be a very different and a very interesting game. And then I've moved our match to Chippy to the next day, so on Sunday at our home ground. To those of you that remember, the match against Chippy this season was a remarkable game of football and very, very evenly matched. So I think that promises to be an incredibly interesting day. Now, I know 2 days together, it's full on, but this isn't the Premiership. And the last time I checked, 9-year-olds love football and they love running, so I'm sure we'll be fine. Plus, it's the only way that we can actually fit it into this season without forfeiting the game, which I don't want to do. So it's our very own Super Saturday and Sunday of sport, and it also gives me an airtight excuse to get out of any of the jobs that Mrs. Harris has me lined up for at the weekend, which is a bonus. So now the sexy topic of goalposts. Now, some of you may or may not know, but we're no longer allowed to keep the goalposts in the containers at the home ground. And before you switch off, and before you lose interest, I'll save you the suspense. I can think of a million better things to talk about than sodding goalposts. But with that said, we're in this together, right? And I've put this topic bang in the middle of the video on purpose before I talk about Christmas, so you stay listening until the end. Now, in short, for the last few months, Kevin and Leanne have been kind enough to bring the goalpost backwards and forwards for any of our home games. And as of this Saturday, I'm stepping up and I'm taking my turn to do that as well. And equally, we've got a group of parents that turn up and they assemble them and they take them down. And we're genuinely grateful. But I do think it's important that we share these jobs among us as a team. So my ask basically is a simple one. If you've got a boot big enough and you're able to take home the goalposts and bring them to the game periodically, please drop me a note and I'll pull together a rota or something similar so it's nice and fair and spread evenly amongst us. Equally, if you also want to help out and contribute to the setup and the takedown of the goals, I'm also going to set up a rota for that. If for no other reason, I kind of want to give the guys, the regular volunteers, a bit of a break because it does tend to be the usual suspects. We're all in this together, right? So please pitch in, drop me a note, tell me which one of those or both, if you can help with them. I'd be very grateful. Now, let's talk Christmas. You remember at the beginning of the season that we as a management team committed that we would get together regularly outside of the game so the kids actually had a chance to hang out together as mates. Wembley, I think, was a great example of that. And that was a blast for the kids. But next time, I'm taking all the parents with me, just to be clear. And don't get me started on the coach driver. Just no. That's going to go down in Colts urban folklore. Never again. Never again. Anyway, it was awesome. And for the Christmas do, thanks to the mighty Jimbo Randall Cox and his award-winning beard, on the 22nd of December, we have got some indoor football at the Swindon Indoor Arena. The great thing about this is they get 90 minutes of football between 4 and 6 p.m, led by the venue's FA coaches. So we're not involved. We can basically go and hit the bar if that's your thing. It's my thing. After the football, the kids will get Domino's pizza and participation medals. So it will be a blast for them and time well spent. So that's the 22nd of December. The cost for the event will be £10 per child, payable to Jim. The event costs a lot more. That's going to be absorbed by the clubs. We're just asking £10 per child. You're welcome to bring siblings if you like, but there are limited spaces. So again, the second this video finishes, let Jim know in advance if that's your plan. So we're also, by the way, going to be considering maybe a Secret Santa. But I appreciate there's only so much you can absorb in one video, so we'll let you know nearer the time if we're going to do that for the kids. And finally, myself and the management team are getting together on Friday the 20th of December. So if there's any suggestions that you have, anything you would like raised whilst we're all together in one room, preferably when we're still sober, please drop me a note and just let me know if there's anything you would like discussed. As ever, in the meantime, in between games, anything you're not happy about or any suggestions you have, come and speak to me directly. A lot of you do. I think that bit's working well. You'd have to tell me. But in brief, a big thank you on behalf of me, the kids, the management team for your support so far this season. I, for one, are thoroughly enjoying it. I appreciate I'm a little bit biased, maybe. But I do think this is the best season in the Colts history so far to date. And equally, I just think we're getting warmed up, which is a great thing to be able to say. Anyway, cheers, and I'll see you Saturday.